I have this idea. It's been knocking around in my head for a bit. Battery powered saw and drill. Electric one. Here is the sketch I've drawn up for this project. I'm building a big air catch ramp to use with a 45-degree ramp and the TRAXXAS MAXX. There's 5 sheets of 1/2-inch plywood here, 8 2x4x8s, 2 1x8x8s. I have a bag, 1-pound bag of 2.5-inch deck screws, and this bag of hardware, which consists of 1/4 bolts with fender washers and wing nuts, and 2 different size hinges, which I'll show you where they go during the build. Okay, I've made several cuts. Got some boards cut up. Show you what I got cut so far. I cut one 2x4 in half. This is going to be the base. So 4x8 foot base. 4 more pieces. These are the verticals for over there, 2 3/4. These are the verticals on this end, 5 5 1/4. And this is just the math I did on the sketch to give a true 15-degree and 25-degree landing. Doesn't have to be that exactly, but if you follow them numbers, it'll come out. And these will both be pulled in to 6 6 inches, which is on a right triangle. The near side, the hypotenuse is fixed. That's our 8-foot sheet of plywood. So I have to pull them in so that it reaches and has the overlap. Top boards will go on the bottom boards, the 15-degree boards. This is the collapsible part of the ramp. Hinges are on. Next, I'll need strips of plywood for the bracing for the uprights. the bracing cut. Sometimes you have to make adjustments mid-project. I'm not using these little screws that came with the hinges. What I've done is cut pieces of 2x4 block using the same deck screws I'm putting this frame together with. Give them some backing. So here's proof of concept of the collapsible ramp idea. So at the same time I got these blocks for backing, it supports the braces when they fold up. So everything will fold up like this to set the ramp up, raise each corner, fender washers, 1/4 bolts, and wing nuts. Needs to be fairly strong. This stand is going to be supporting 4 sheets of plywood for the deck, for the landing ramp. So, got to do this for all the other corners. Looks like I have a lot of work to do. The frame is done for my collapsible TRAXXAS MAXX catch ramp, or anything else that wants to use this 45-degree ramp with this catch ramp. Let me show you a little bit about how this went together. So hinges for the upright, hinges for the cross brace, 1/4 bolts with fender washers going through. Same on the cross bracing. This will support 2 sheets of 2x4, upper and lower. So collapsible, wing nuts, take both wing nuts out, take both braces off, take the wing nuts out of the bracing here. So 3 hinges on this piece, 2 foot by 3 foot, 2 foot or 3 foot along the bottom angle, 2 foot high. This is 18 inches both ways. Over here, same thing. 1/4 bolts with wing nuts. Got the 3 blocks for the backing to drive these hinge screws in. So these screws are going into 2x4, and these screws going into that 2x4 block. This thing needs to be solid. It's high. It's going to have 4 sheets of plywood on it. 25 degrees on the upper section, and then 15 degrees on the lower section. So there it is, getting late. Got the frame done. I need to put each piece of plywood will go on half of this, and there'll be a clip on the edge of that plywood that'll go over this, so it'll fit tight in between here, clip on each half of the plywood just to that board, and that'll keep them from the plywood from drifting this way or this way when the truck rattles down on the ramp. And those 2x4 clips on the edge of the plywood will hook over here. If anything, the plywood will want to go downhill, both pieces, so they'll hang on clips of 2x4. I'll show you that when I get it done. So to assemble it, it'll be set up this frame section, put the upper plywood on last. Put the lower plywood on first because the upper plywood will overhang, if my calculations are correct, to the lower section. So let's hear it for math, trigonometry. We'll see how this works out when I get the clips on the plywood and get the sheets of plywood up. Okay, 4 clips. These will each go on a piece of plywood. It measures 41 inches inside the uprights. So these screws, each piece of plywood, drop right between the uprights. Keep the plywood from shifting. Okay, here's hoping the math works out. And it looks like it does. Got my overlap. Beautiful. See if we can't put this up here. See what it looks like. Getting dark. Looks like I got her done. Just as planned. Whew. There it is. Catch ramp. The TRAXXAS MAXX. Collapsible. Got a little flex on the landing, but strong enough to take the weight of the truck. Big enough area as far as not missing the ramp. Here is what's extra as far as the material. I knew I had to get this extra sheet of plywood for the corner bracing. No way around it. So I have some plywood left over, but one short little piece of 2x4, and now that pound of screws, there may be 15 or 20 screws left. So it got dark on me, but the catch ramp is complete, except for one thing. It's what I bought the 1x8s for that I haven't used yet. I have to rip them into thinner pieces. Gonna put cross bracing in here, in the front one there and the back one, to brace it side to side. Although I tell you what, it feels pretty solid like it is. I still want to brace that, but there it is. Collapsible. You can take it apart, stack it in the garage, get it out of the weather. For me, mostly it's the snow. I went with treated, so I can leave it out. Summertime, a little rain won't hurt it, but snow, gotta break it down, put it away. So, project done. A 8 by 16 foot catch ramp for big air jumps. Got a double backflip in the future. We'll have to wait and see.